Hi, I'm Troy, the creator of the Blipblox. In this video, I'll show you the basics of creating sounds with this innovative new music device. The Blipblox is designed to have fun without really understanding how it all works. You can just turn it on and start twisting the knobs and pressing the buttons and hear what sort of fun sounds you can get out of it. Now let's talk about how these sounds are being made. There are 5 major components to the Blipblox. There is the sequencer, the oscillator, the filter, the amplifier, and the modulation matrix. These components are tied together by the color-coded lines. The green lines are the musical notes, the red lines are audio, and the blue lines are control signals. The flow of the Blipblox generally moves from left to right. So let's start on the left with the sequencer select button. There are hundreds of sequences built into the Blipblox, and every time you press the sequencer select button, it brings up a new sequence. So you can keep pressing it until you find a melody that you like. Notice that every time you press the sequencer select button, it also turns the drum machine on or off. From the sequencer select button, the notes go into the tempo lever. This controls how fast the sequencer plays. From the tempo lever, the notes flow into the oscillator select button. There are 8 different oscillators in the Blipblox, and each oscillator has a unique sound. You can press this button to cycle through all 8. Each oscillator also gets 2 modulation inputs, which we'll talk about later. The audio flows out of the oscillator to the filter lever. The filter changes the tone of the sound. From the filter lever, the audio goes out through the volume control. The amplifier also has the Amplifier Release knob. This is basically the sustain. It controls how long the notes stay on after they're released. Now let's talk about the modulation matrix. To do this, we're going to put the Blipblox in a special LED performance mode, so the LEDs are displaying exactly what's going on to make the sound. We'll turn all the modulations off for now. And we'll go to oscillator model number 1, indicated here. There are 3 sources of modulations in the Blipblox. There are 2 LFOs and 1 envelope. These 2 knobs control the speed of the LFOs, and the middle knob controls the attack of the modulation envelope. Right now, none of these sources are selected, so the only thing that's modulating the oscillator are the knobs themselves. So now let's apply LFO1 to oscillator modulation 1. We do this by pressing the oscillator modulation select 1 knob button. This LED indicates that the LFO1 is selected. So now we can visually see LFO1 on these LEDs, and we can also hear the effect on the oscillator. We can control how much this LFO affects the oscillator also. Or we can apply the modulation envelope. This LED indicates the modulation envelope has been selected. We can see the modulation envelope over here on these LEDs. We can control the attack with the knob. You can hear as we turn it up, the slower attack, you can hear the change that makes to the oscillator. We can also apply a modulation input to the oscillator 2. Let's apply LFO2 to modulation input 2. This LED indicates that LFO2 is going to oscillator modulation 2. Now we can hear the effect of LFO2 on oscillator modulation 2. We can also apply a modulation source to the filter. Now we have LFO1 being applied to the filter. So now you can hear we have a pretty complicated sound with the 3 modulation sources going to 3 different modulation destinations. We have a lot of flexibility here. We can also put 1 LFO into all 3 of the modulation destinations. So now we hear LFO1 going to all 3 destinations. Keeping all these modulations the same, we can also change the oscillator type now. Now you can start to hear how many sounds are available on the Blipblox. With the 3x3 modulation matrix and the 8 oscillator schemes, there's really a lot of different sonic sounds you can explore. This is what I think makes the Blipblox a lot of fun. There's really just an unlimited number of sounds you can explore.